This was the beginning of the greatest transformation of wealth the world has ever fucking seen since World War II. Now, what are you going to tell your kids and your grandkids 25 years from now when they say, gee, daddy, gee, grandpa, what were you doing other than having your thumb up your big fucking ass during the greatest transformation of wealth in the history of the world? What were you fucking doing? Fuck all, nothing. That's what most of you will tell them, your grandchildren and your children. It's never going to get any better than this, kids. This is the, as I said on YouTube, the eye of the perfect motherfucking storm. This is it. I never thought I'd live to see it again. This is going to make the 80s look like a nursery rhyme, which I, praise Allah, praise Buddha, praise God, I participated in slashing and raping everybody in the 80s. Legally. This is going to make that look like a fucking nursery rhyme. And what are you going to tell your kids?
What's up YouTube, it's your boy MX Style, back again with another crypto video. In this video we're talking about Zillia and the DeFi that they're bringing to the platform, like I told you they would in yesterday's video, although they didn't cover all of it. We'll be looking briefly at the markets. Let me make sure I put this in USD, and then we'll also be going over some of the following coins. So we'll be talking about CRO, we're talking about Bitcoin, we're talking about Chainlink, we'll be talking about Polkadot, we're talking about Binance Coin, and then we'll be also looking at the news, but it won't necessarily be in the order, but the timestamps are below. So let's get into the video.
Defi, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Having money on my mind, I having money in my pocket. Bone marrow roasted, spread it on the rosemary bread, lightly toasted, drizzle with the vinaigrette.
Okay, looking at the market, we can see here there's been a nice tiny slew of green across each coin, which is what I love to see. That gets me hard, man. Sorry, that was inappropriate. Sorry, guys. I'm looking at the biggest gainer. We have Nexus Mutual gaining a nice 13% pump, as well as Synthetics Network gaining a 10% pump, and other than that, not many big gainers. Ample Fourth has gained around 5%, so I don't know, my voice cracked there, sorry about that. But now potentially could be a good time to enter, because this thing always rebases to $1, so you would get around 30 to 40% if you were to put in, you know, an amount of money. Not financial advice though, that price may go down, so just keep an eye on it, you know, put an alert on it or something. Looking at the biggest losers, we have Thorchain, we have the best shitcoin in the world, Sushi. Hope you guys stay away from that with, you know, don't touch it with a 6-foot pole. Terra, we have Uma as well, and yeah, that's that. So if you guys are looking at yield farming, I would stay away from ETH unless you guys have money to blow and like you're a baller and you can afford that, because look at these Gwei prices, look at that. Look at that, guys. Look at that. That's ridiculous. Come on, man. I looked today at a tweet, and it said around, you know, $46 for one transaction. Like, poof, fuck off. I'm sorry, fuck off. That's why I yield farm on Tron. At the moment, I'm yield farming Sun token. I'm in the TRX and USDT pool, and that's getting me around 2.9% APY a year. I might as well, if I hold TRX, there's no point just, you know, holding the TRX, because that pool was just, the rates have dried up. Anyway, looking at Zillia, we can see here, as I did say yesterday, that they are planning to bring DeFi, which is amazing. So I'm just going to go over this quickly. Basically, the Zil team has hinted that the project will soon venture into DeFi. When, we do not know, but ultimately I believe it will be in this up and coming quarter. No, we're already in the quarter. Are we? No. In the up and coming quarter, so October till December. And then yeah, they're saying that they'll bring farming as well as a Zil swap. So who else have we seen do this? We've seen Tron do this with their Just Swap. We've seen Binance do this with their Burger Swap, or the Burger coin, or whatever it is. But that coin is a shit coin, so I wouldn't touch that coin. But up to you guys, not financial advice. And then also they are planning to bring a DEX as well, which is amazing. hope excuse me guys, I'm hoping that they have decent liquidity, otherwise it could be problematic. But a good thing about, you know, Zilliqa is that their fees will be minimal in comparison to ETH. So if Ethereum do not get the act together, if ETH 2.0 it doesn't come on a, like when it's expected to come in November, as these people have been saying, then I'm telling you, people like smaller investors, they're going to move over to DOT, they're going to move over to Zilliqa, they're going to move over to Tron, because who wants to pay $50 to transfer or even buy a coin that's, you know, worth like £10, £20 or dollars, you know, sorry, but you know what I mean, guys. But yeah, basically they're saying that DeFi is moving at warp speed, which I would happen to agree with, as you know, Dan Moorhead, you know, he rightly so called out the, you know, expected boom of DeFi, and we're still very early, guys. We're still very early. There's so many different DeFi coins, but anyway, let's get into the rest of the video. So yeah, they've been saying that, you know, Zilliqa's hinted at getting into the DeFi space, and according to Zilliqa's market manager Milan Shukri, the Zilliqa network will soon host a beehive of DeFi activity with ZIL holders farming GZIL, which will be ooh-wee. So also they're planning to bring ZIL Swap, which will be launched, and there will be the possibility of another DEX, which I did say, which will be launched on Zilliqa. So Mr. Shukri has made these plans public via Twitter, as you can see here. Good old farmer let's get them gains, baby, them yield farming gains. I'm hoping the APY will be good, but I'll keep you guys as posted as I can. I know I'm quite late, like I'm a week late, but sorry guys, there's so much to do. I'm back at work. Allow me. Okay, so basically, when is yield farming and you know, ZIL Swap coming? We don't exactly know, but like I said, I do expect it in the upcoming months, and you know, Zilliqa will benefit from this. We did see on Tron a big increase in the price from, you know, the 0.023 mark all the way up to the 0.047 mark. So that's more than a 2x, I believe, or just under a 2x. So ultimately, guys, I'm gonna start loading up on even more Zilliqa, because when this thing does happen like this, it's inevitable. Like, investing is chess. You just need to know the right moves to make. Don't be reactive, be proactive, if that's the right phrase. But you know what I mean. Another milestone for Zilliqa as well is that, I think I've previously said this, but basically they've exceeded over 7 million transactions since their January 2019 mainnet, which is amazing to see, and I just plan, you know, to see this going forward. Unfortunately, guys, I'm not going to be doing any Zilliqa TA today, because I've spammed you guys with that. So you guys can hold tight, man. Let me cover some other coins, okay? Just before we go on, Zilliqa, they are planning to do a capital update, and what the contents of this update are, I do not exactly know. I don't really follow their blog in and out like that, because there's so many different coins that I'm following. But I believe this will, you know, be updated, or you guys will be updated on Twitter, if not on the blog. So keep an eye on that. Maybe add it to a calendar or something. It could potentially increase the price, who knows, depending on what the announcement is. So that's Zilliqa for you guys. Looking at the bit of news for today, so just going to go over this briefly. According to CoinDesk, they're saying that now Bitcoin Young investment wallets are now at an all-time high in comparison to 2018 in February. So sorry about the pause, I don't know why I was being dramatic. So yeah, imagine a little toddler that was like an investor in Bitcoin. That'd be hilarious. So yeah, new investors are entering the Bitcoin market at a faster pace, and possibly creating an upward pressure on prices, on-chain data analysis shows. And you know, going according to yesterday's video about what Dan Moorhead said about the Bitcoin halving, and you know, how that drastically increases price, mate, I'm ready for these gains. I'm ready. But yeah, looking at this chart here, you can see the number of, you know, investors is indicated by the orange/beige line. I'm not sure exactly what color this is, and then the price is indicated by this grayish blue line. And you can see here that now we are nearing our highs in 2018, which is very, very good to see, to be honest. The only thing is though, they're like, it's a weird like metric to count, because ultimately there could be a lot of I don't know, duplicate accounts. You know, like for example, I have Bitcoin in like at least 3 or 5 places. So does it mean that there's more people investing, or does it mean that, you know, one person is like diversifying their funds? Because at one point I had money in BlockFi, Crypto.com, you know, Binance, you know, several different exchanges. So it's, I don't know, but I guess it is, you know, a good sign that we are seeing a rapid increase in the Bitcoin addresses, and, you know, people are catching on. This is why I'm making my videos, to spread awareness. So it's saying that the number of young wallets, those that are 1 to 3 months old, rarely send Bitcoins, and this has jumped to nearly 2.2 or just over 2.2 million this month, which is the highest it's been since February 2018, according to data provided by blockchain analysis firm Chainalysis, and that's doubled from 1.6 million 6 months ago. Amazing, guys, amazing. So investors are taking advantage of the 40% drop to the levels of around 4,000, which unfortunately I was not able to because I was stuck in a rut. But yeah, and this has been observed from March 12th, and, you know, these numbers have continued to pour money into the top cryptocurrencies ever since. And yes, I will, for the next 2 years, only be buying cryptocurrency, no stock, because asymmetric risk, you stand to win everything. But what I'm trying to say is, it's not just like huff and puff, you know, there's like mathematical evidence and proof and game theory behind this whole space. So like, it's not just a gamble or a whim, like it's an actual thing. You know, Bitcoin has been around for 10 years. If it was gonna fail, it would have failed by now. That it's only rising and rising in terms of its value and its adoption. It's just a matter of time. So yeah, looking at this briefly, it says here that, you know, Pickle Finance, the total value locked up has exceeded $347 million in 4 days, which is crazy. That's just ridiculous. To be honest, I'm staying well clear of any ETH farm. As you guys know, the fees are just extortionate, and I am not about that life. Like, Jesus Christ, imagine you're paying $50 for entering a farm as a small retail investor, and like a year from now, ETH goes up, you know, by like 10x or 5x, like that. It's money I can't afford to lose. I've already been stung once by DeFi. So yeah, DeFi related projects have slowly taken over crypto in the last quarter, with many of these projects suffering from continuous issues like the Uniswap fork, SushiSwap's vampire attack, and the market dump of 13 million worth of Ether. Now this guy, Chef Nomi, he's actually claimed to have given the money back, but the price of sushi hasn't recovered because he's been a prick. He's done an exit scam. He says he hasn't done an exit scam, but obviously if you sell all of your tokens, then what else would you call that? So yeah, that's that. You guys can have a look at that in the comments, in the description, sorry. Lastly, this next bit of news is saying that other companies will follow MicroStrategy. So if you guys don't know, in August, MicroStrategy put around, was it $200 million worth of cash into crypto or something like that, and now they have doubled down after telling the SEC. So let's just quickly read this article. So MicroStrategy stock price jumped once again after announcing that it bought a total of 425 million in Bitcoin to date, but other companies will follow their footsteps? I think so. It's just a matter of time, guys. It's just a matter of time. But yeah, let these people catch up. It's alright. Like, you know, forgive them, for they have sinned. The Nasdaq listed MicroStrategy is continuing to purchase hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, resulting in its company stock price to gain over 9%. So if you guys are risk adverse, you know, you don't want to touch crypto, it's too volatile, I can't handle it, then I would suggest, if you can, buy some, you know, MicroStrategy stock, as then you get exposure to Bitcoin via proxy, as their whole cash reserve is now in Bitcoin. Let that sink in. Okay, so I'm not going to go over the whole article because I've covered pretty much what the story says, but yeah, you can see here nicely, COVID blah, 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 sideways, and then sometime around here is when they bought their first set of Bitcoin, and then now they've had another dose of the good old Bitcoin cryptocurrency hype fueled train, and the stock has nicely appreciated in price by, was it 10%? So that is that. So now the bit you guys have all been waiting for, drum roll please. So guys, it's a very sexy looking day for Bitcoin. Oh god damn it, man, I'm happy. Okay, so looking at the MACD, you can see here there's been a bullish crossover and we are leaving the bearish territory. It seems we are now starting to put in some bullish candles up on the MACD, and this I'm hoping it's just a matter of time before price action follows. We can see here that in the last couple of days Bitcoin has appreciated in price nicely, putting in 3 green daily candles. I did think we were forming a descending triangle, but that was invalidated and we surged upwards. We then broke past this resistance level and now we have flipped it as support. Ultimately we have had a bit of a pullback, as is healthy in any surge of a market, but I do believe we are now setting an upwards trend, as you can see this line here sort of represents. However, it's too early to say, as we are ultimately in sort of no man's land. We could retrace all the way back down to the 8 or 9,000 level, maybe even 8,000 level, or we could surge up until the 10,000 level, until the these ranges here, 11.1, 11.5. but like I said in yesterday's video, I do believe that we will have some difficulty overcoming these levels, as a lot of people probably FOMO'd in at these levels and are probably shaken out. So when they do get to break even level, then I do believe that they'll start to sell off. So it will be some upwards and possible sideways consolidation before we then decide to see more market movement. But ultimately the MACD is showing us lovely signs of bullishness, so I hope that continues. And I don't expect us to go to the moon anytime soon because of the reasons I mentioned before, but we are in a good place. We aren't below 10,000 anymore. We did try to test this around 3 or 4 times, ultimately holding as support, as the bulls just brought up those dips, man. So yeah, that's why it's always good to at least have 20% in cash also to take advantage of future opportunities and dips and whatnot. So yeah, that's Bitcoin. I'm not going to go into the 4 hourly because I just wanted to go over a brief overview. Looking at crypto.com, we've seen this line here represents what I believe is when they announced their CRO swap. Is it? Excuse me if I got that wrong, but regardless of if I got the name right or wrong, we can see here in the last since the year has started, we have put in a nice upwards trend. Now we haven't always been above that trend. We saw in March that we did dip below it for several months, but now we have flipped it as support, putting in several higher highs on a daily and also monthly level, and obviously weekly as well if I was to zoom out and look at that aspect. But we have seen a lot of key levels here. So the number one being the 12% mark, and ultimately it did take us a while. We got rejected from that for a bit. Let me just zoom forward because this is old data, but yeah, basically these are the 2 current important levels, the 17-cent mark and then also the 14-cent mark. Previously we did have difficulty getting past the 14-cent mark, and now the current most relevant level of resistance is the 17-cent mark, as this we have tested this several times. We did go above it ever so briefly before getting swiftly rejected, but guys, we held 2 key lines of support. We held this long-term trend line here dating back from all the way from December 2019, and we also held this 14-cent mark as as support, excuse me. So having said that, we are currently, I would say, trading sideways. I don't know whether we're going to go down to retest it or we're going to go up to, I don't know whether we're going to go up to try and surpass this 17-cent mark. I can't predict the future. I'm just giving you guys the analysis of the markets. But we have seen, since they announced their decks or whatever, and they're also I made the video on it, their DeFi yield farm thing, basically, that the price has appreciated. But there is the 30-day and 90-day lockup period. So after like potentially end of October, all the whales that entered that farm, I do believe they will start to sell off the token. So we could potentially, I don't know, go back down to either test this level or the 14-cent mark in the next coming months or so, as there will, I believe, be a sell-off either at the 30-day or 90-day interval once people are able to get their yields from their farms. But the next level of support or resistance that we do need to break and flip support would be the 17-cent mark. So that's our our next key level. But ultimately, guys, CRO, I see this as a very, very good buy. It's it's not going to give you crazy gains unless you had bought in like here, but it will be consistent year-long, month on month, week on week growth, in my personal opinion. And you can also earn 16% APY, which is it's lovely to see. Like, I'm getting around £2.50 dividends or interest from staking CRO, and I'm hoping to get 10,000 CRO, so I can when I'm taking out loans and stuff, I can get a lower rate of 8% as opposed to paying 12% on my loans and whatnot. But I do need to get my hustle up and get monetized on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. But yeah, just before we move on, it does look like we could be potentially, not saying that we are, potentially could be forming somewhat of an ascending triangle. But like I said, with all the other factors such as the yields that are yet to be claimed, that could be easily invalidated. So not financial advice. Looking at Chainlink, we have some interesting structure here. So just to zoom out, because this is looking a bit choppy, this is on the weekly, guys. So we have had a nice fat rejection from the $20 mark. We have seen a long time of people selling off. We did sort of bounce off this 12.9 mark here, and then we did see another pump, but ultimately, because of the crypto market wide sell-off, we have retraced now down to this $10 mark, or just under it. But ultimately, we are still setting macro higher highs, as you can see, like so. There hasn't been much sideways trading movement like we had seen in the previous months, because now Chainlink is on everyone's radar. But this is just part of a healthy retracement, and ultimately I would hope, like, these are all Fibonacci retracement levels, and sorry for not having the numbers there, but I would hope to see us sort of respect this Fibonacci retracement and then either trend sideways possibly for the next couple of weeks or so, and potentially hold this upwards trending line as support. However, this is just a whim. I don't believe that is guaranteed to happen. Generally, Chainlink has historically pumped and then traded sideways, as we have seen several times or so, like represented here. We've seen it here, we've seen it here as well, although this hasn't there wasn't much of a retracement. But you guys catch the gist, or catch my gist, sorry. We'd hopefully trade in this region between the $10 mark and the $14 mark before going on to try and test some of these key levels of resistance here. So that is Chainlink. On the daily, it looks quite interesting. On the daily, there are there is more like resistance at key levels such as the $12.5 mark, and ultimately that's where we would look to retest in the immediate short term before having to look at levels such as the 13.5, and then ultimately 16, and when we do become super bullish again, the $20 mark. So yeah, it's not too late to enter. On the daily, it's looking a lot better in terms of the consolidation. Yeah, I would say Chainlink is undervalued, 50% undervalued. So that is Chainlink. Then looking at Polkadot, looking at Polkadot here, we can see similarly to all the other coins, it's had a nice fat pump, and then it also had a fat retracement as well, but we seem to be setting a nice consistent upwards trend, which is nicely respected. We have wicked below it several different times, but now we seem to be between two different resistance and support lines of the $5.7 mark as our resistance and the $4.8 mark as our support, but we're also holding this upward trend line as support as well. So I don't know whether we're going to continue to hold this upwards horizontal trend line as support, or we will hold this vertical, oh my god, sorry guys, I don't know whether we're going to hold this diagonal support line as support, or we will hold this horizontal line as support. Sorry guys, I don't know what's going on today, but ultimately if we do see bullish action in the upcoming days, then we would, if you guys do want to enter, I would hope I would wait until we break this 5.6 and then flip that as support before entering, because we could easily get rejected and go lower before then starting to retest. So best to wait before any major moves happen, so you can see a better return on your investment. But not financial advice, just trying to keep you guys updated. But yeah, I would expect, to be honest, it depends on when Polkadot, because sorry to keep on going back and forth, but they are, as you guys know, they're planning to release a DEX, they're planning to release PokerSwap as well. That could be anywhere from a month to 3 months from now, but that would definitely have bullish effects, in my opinion, on the price of Polkadot. As I'm not sure whether I know they're planning to use a PSwap token, so I'm not sure exactly how the structure of their DeFi platform would work, but I just know, I believe it would be bullish for the price of Polkadot. Lastly, we have Binance Coin. So looking at Binance Coin, at the moment it seems that we're forming a descending triangle. However, don't quote me on that. We do have some key levels of resistance and support. The number one support level currently being at the $25 mark, as we have sort of ever so slightly wicked just above it. We are trading above it now, and could we trade sideways, or could we get rejected as we continue to go on before going back to test some of these key levels in the VPVR at the $22.6 mark? Who knows, but it's hard to say. Like, this price surge has been caused by the burger swap that they did announce, and ultimately on the MACD we are looking bullish. However, we have seen a bearish crossover which didn't do much for the price, but ultimately now it seems like these two trend lines might be starting to converge, and we could see a retrace in the price, as these candles now have the bullishness and the volume of these candles is getting lower and lower. So I believe the hype from the burger swap is maybe possibly dying down. We're starting to see consolidation. If we can see the consolidation at anywhere from the $25 mark to the $23 mark, which I don't believe will happen, to be honest, that would be very bullish for the token, the BNB token. Ultimately, we did test this $25 mark quite a few times, tested it at least 4 times here, 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 and here before finally breaking through it. So yeah, I do believe we should hold this as support. However, I would wait, just a couple days or so, at least until 20th of September or around that day, just to see what the price of BNB will do before then. Ultimately it could tank, but well, not tank, but could have a retracement to who knows where. But that's been the video, guys. I hope you found it useful. I hope you found value in it. If you're new, if you're old, subscribe, hit the like button, leave me a comment, let me know what you want to cover. Yeah, hope you've enjoyed it. See ya, bye bye.